Welcome back to the Griddle Guys.
Cheers.
Cheers. Today we have the most important Griddle Guys here.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Chris is shockingly away on another vacation.
Another vacation for Chris. Nate's injured. He tore his bicep.
Ruptured my bicep, so I'll be in a sling for the next series of videos.
You might hear him yelp once in a while if he uses the wrong arm. But anyways, we're working through it. Today we're doing a family-friendly cook. This is something that's super simple. Obviously, you can buy mozzarella sticks at the store, throw them in the oven, be done with it. But we all own griddles. We love them. And so this is a way to get the family involved in cooking.
I was just gonna say, how's it family friendly?
Because you get the kids. You can have your kids, you'll see how easy it is. It literally is fresh mozzarella, my little twist on it. It's not really a secret ingredient, but thin crust.
I can't wait to see this.
There is actually a surprising twist on how I get that to stick to the dough, which shocked me because I tested it a couple different ways.
Well, stop talking and get to work.
We're gonna get right to it, guys. Cheers, like, subscribe. Even if you don't like us,
subscribe anyway.
Subscribe and just hit the like button. It's free.
If you accidentally clicked on the channel, just go ahead and subscribe.
You know, it is what it is. But we're doing our best, and we'll get to it. Cheers. Step one, we're just gonna get the mozzarella opened. This is fresh mozzarella logs that they have at the market. You can use sliced mozzarella.
Is that I was gonna say, is that the whole one or the one that's pre-cut?
It's the pre-sliced one and works really well. Say you can peel this, but I've never had luck peeling it.
I've always had luck peeling it.
Have you really?
Yeah, I always peel it.
I feel like you're lying.
I think it's operator error.
So they have, a lot of the times they have the thin sliced and they have the regular. I would go with the regular.
You gotta get the regular.
You want the mozzarella. So I get a paper towel here. I'm just gonna suck up some of the moisture because there's plenty of it in there. We're just gonna cut these into strips, and then we're
you're not gonna just do them that size?
No, because my secret ingredient, pizza crust, you wanna make sure it gets cooked.
Okay.
So the edges are tough if it's round. I was thinking about doing that. So what I do is I just pat these dry, and then I just cut them into slices. Now, I have a dog, as you guys all know, so none of this goes to waste. Square them up a little bit, and you'll see why once we get them on the griddle.
Do you double them up? I mean, that's a kind of tiny mozzarella stick.
You know, Nate.
Oh, I'm confused by this.
No, I don't.
Confused.
I don't, but trust me, it's gonna be good.
You know, any guy who says, but trust me, usually means you shouldn't trust them.
That's not true. So we get those cut up. We're gonna lay them flat on a plate. And then one of the things that helps with this, with cooking the dough, is to freeze the mozzarella. Square it up, you get them in a relatively flat plate, throw them in the freezer for 30 minutes, and then we'll get to breading them, which, as I mentioned earlier, is surprising. Now you don't have to square it up, but you'll see when I'm on the griddle why I did it. How many mozzarella sticks do you want, Nate?
I'll take 3. I think you've got us covered.
You got it
Plus,
covered.
this is not part of your diet, right?
I'm gonna try one, just because.
Whoa.
I had my kids try these.
Chris and I are offended because you would never try our food when you're dieting.
All right, I'm not gonna try it, I was just kidding. So anyways, I had my kids try these.
I think you're just biased to your cooking versus our cooking.
These are gonna go right in the freezer, like I said, 20 to 30 minutes, and we'll be back. So it really is simple, and this is the part where you can get the kids involved if you want to. So we just got 2 bowls, and one of them, I got regular Italian breadcrumbs, I got some panko. I don't like just doing all one or all the other because I like the texture difference.
Really?
Yeah. Like the regular breadcrumbs probably work better because they stick better.
Yeah.
But I like the crunch of the panko. So we got that. We got some salt. And this is the shocking thing I came across.
Water for a binder?
Water for a binder. Why, you may ask?
Why not eggs?
I tried eggs.
Yeah, and apparently it didn't work by the look on your face.
No, eggs worked. Oh, you got it out of the freezer, thank you. That's all set. So eggs worked, and they worked well, but they're not needed. And you need the water anyways, because the nice thing about it is the dough. Once you get the dough, the way you stick the dough is you just kind of wet the edge, just kind of like a pie crust.
Yeah, right.
And it sticks it nicely so that way the cheese doesn't blow out. Combination of that and then the frozen cheese gives the dough time enough to cook. And what's nice about this dough is the thin crust is that it's thin, so you don't really have to roll it out. cooks pretty quickly.
So we're gonna take the frozen cheese, wrap it in the dough, and then what?
And then bread
What
it.
is the Jeff logic here?
And then bread it. That's it.
And then bread it with water.
Bread it with
Are
bread.
you guys as skeptical as I am?
Bread it with breadcrumbs.
I am skeptical.
So kids love dough. They love playing with dough. They love chewing on dough. So this is a good task for them. You don't want to stretch it out too thin, but thin things out. Let's see here. So what we're gonna do is grab a piece of
Oh wow, you can really smell the dough, huh?
frozen cheese. You're gonna put it there. You're not gonna take off too much dough because you don't want it to be too thick.
I would have never considered using dough.
You know, I did it before where I just used dough and it came out pretty good, but it wasn't really crunchy.
Yeah, it was doughy, right?
Yeah, it was dough. Yeah, exactly. So anyways, so we cut that just about that size. Now we're gonna take our water
To the edges.
through the edges. So now you kind of stretch the dough around, pinch it.
I was gonna say, I feel like Uncle Roger. Okay, good, good. Yeah,
Uncle
you do
Roger,
the dough.
That's what it was.
Have you seen him?
Yes.
He's a riot. I love him.
So you just want to make sure that that seam's nice and tight because you don't want any mozzarella leaking out before it's cooked.
All right.
So we got that, all right? And then if
a
you
little-
have too much dough at the end, just make sure you pinch it off. No pun intended.
Yeah, right. It's
Yeah.
a little cheese hot pocket.
Little cheese hot pocket. And that's it. And you just kind of, the reason why I squared it off is so you can kind of have squared off ends.
So this is where you get the kids involved, and you cut 10 pieces of dough and have
Exactly.
the kids do this.
And they all get to play with it. I think it's safe to eat. I can't guarantee that. But anyways, so you make these.
You gonna do these while we're camping?
So we can do this while we're camping. That's right, I am going with you this
You're
year.
going with me this year,
Right, I got the dumpster site.
yeah. You do at Jeff's campsite for our annual camping
They
trip.
got the lodges. And I'm
There's
like,
the
I
bathrooms, the dumpster, and then Jeff's camping.
I can't really afford the lodge. You know what else? Oh, there's a site around the corner. I book it,
Hey,
and then as soon as I book it and send them the picture, oh, I got right around the corner. Oh, right next to the dumpster. It's gonna smell great.
so the good news is every night when you leave our campsite, you can take the trash on the way back to your campsite.
That's nice. Nice. So we're gonna make a couple of these up, and I'll show you the breading next.
All right.
So as you can see, pretty short work, and especially if you put the kids to work,
Yeah. Took us about what, 7, 8 minutes?
if that, right around there.
Yeah.
So you got these nice, perfectly rectangular cheese sticks.
Mini cheese calzones.
This is the surprise, and I tested a bunch of different things. I tested oil, I tested eggs, tested water.
Oil, really?
I did an Italian, a chicken cutlet one time when my friend recommended using oil instead of flour.
Wow.
And the key is that it worked, except you had to freeze the chicken after
Oh,
you bread it.
yeah. Okay.
And then it worked. But anyway, so just right into the water. That's it. Gonna cover this with our combination of breadcrumb, panko, a little salt,
Looks cool.
right into the water. And the thing with this is that you want to kind of push it in because the dough is going to get a little tacky with the water, and that's going to be your binder. Combination of the two. So we'll get all these done, and then we're out to the griddle. And at big thing, because we bread a lot, we do a lot of this type of cooking. You don't get the club hand. You get just a little bit of breadcrumb, on your fingertips, but you don't need to be taking the chunks off every time, and you don't waste as much breadcrumbs.
I like it. I mean, it looks legit.
So we'll get all these done, and we'll see you out of the griddle.
You know
Skip
who?
this step
You know
though.
who would love these?
Any kid?
Well, and Chris. Too bad he's on his 7th vacation for the year.
Who's that?
Right. Exactly.
We love you, Chris. We love you. That's it. Ready for the griddle. Wash my hands. See you out there. So we're in Nate's forever construction zone.
We'll move the camera around and show you how it's not done yet.
Nate, do you have any comments about? Anyways.
Yeah.
sir.
Don't get me started, Jeff. Did that just blow out?
It's almost done. It's almost done. So I've had the griddle on, I cleaned it off. I'm actually gonna take down the heat a little bit with some water, just because we wanna kinda do this on the lower end of temperature. I got the
Why
griddle,
is that?
griddle on low because even though the dough is going to be cooked pretty quickly, I don't want a doughy taste or like that gooiness. So I just want to cook it slower so that way it gets golden, doesn't burn, cheese melts. It's kind of like that balancing act, you know?
So if I'm understanding correctly, you're going lower so that the dough has time to cook before the cheese turns to liquid?
Before the cheese turns liquid and before the crust burns.
Okay, all right.
So we want to cook the breadcrumb. So as you can see, plenty of temperature on the griddle. That should be good enough.
Thanks for that mouthful of steam.
Sorry about that. And what we're going to do is a nice little bed of oil.
Extra light olive oil for anyone who has a question.
And when I go to put these down, I'm gonna put one side on first.
Yeah, a little sizzle. Huh?
Little sizzle. It's perfect. Get that going. Put it down.
And these are frozen, right?
So these are semi-frozen. The cheese is frozen. Dough, not quite.
That's
So
a pretty cool temp. This is about the temp you wanted, or?
this is like perfect.
Really?
So
Okay.
it's got a little bit of a sizzle.
I would not have done that.
So that way it's not getting soggy, right? You don't want it just sucking up the grease. We will put these all down.
They do hold together pretty well. Like you said, the breading, sticking to it, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, the dough makes a huge difference. And the water.
I mean,
That's the water. That's for the binder.
the weird thing is, I don't say this often, you might have done something right.
Thank God Chris isn't here to see this. He would be shocked.
Thank God we have this on film.
Yeah,
This is one of the few occurrences.
nice, real nice. So anyways, we'll lay these out. It's not gonna be long and we'll be right back. So I put these down, I turned the heat up to medium, and I'm just gonna put some oil around them.
So we've gotten comments about somebody saying you should never add cold oil to food. But if you guys notice, what Jeff's doing is he's adding it right next to the food.
Yes.
So it hits the griddle first and heats up and then flows into the frying
You
part.
definitely don't want to put it on the food because
Right.
then it will just get soggy and oily, right?
So that was I replied to that comment. It was a while ago. But
Yeah.
there's also a ton of thermal mass here that's super hot,
Yeah.
you know? So as soon as that oil gets there, it heats up quickly.
So you want the oil to be a temp where it's going to sizzle, but you don't want it to be overly hot where you're going to burn the breadcrumbs before the dough is cooked.
I mean, you've got this on medium.
I kicked it up
Across
to
the board
medium.
on
I
medium.
started on low,
And it's about, what, 41 degrees out?
about 41 degrees. And if I were to guess, I'd probably say this is at 350 griddle temp wise.
So the way I would
We actually have a thermometer.
We do, the
infrared.
laser probe.
Yeah, that would be too easy.
If I had to, I would equate this to, you've heard of a gentle boil or a gentle simmer? This is like a gentle fry.
You can go a little quicker, and the dough is so thin, it's gonna be cooked either way, but I just kind of like, you know, you kind of thaw in the cheese.
You don't want them darker than that?
We'll get a flip. Well, we'll kind of do it in 2 flips.
Oh, okay.
So you can already see the cheese is starting to melt and get loose inside.
I feel like there's a lot of concentration going on right
Always
about here.
concentration.
A lot of concentration.
It's not easy. It's not easy. All right, so flipped. We're just gonna give it a couple minutes on medium low. And I'm starting to think that Nate ran out of gas because
Oh, because that's, yeah. We did hear it puff.
and we're out of gas.
All right, let me find another tank. I got to go through the snow to get this.
It's not burning. That's a good thing.
Oh, my tanks are over there. I got
That's right.
to get
No,
wet.
I'll get it. I'll get it.
I got a left hand. I'll get it.
Is there any reason why you store your propane tanks in a snowbank on the edge of your deck that's nowhere near?
Do you really want an honest answer?
Yeah. It's
Because if
kinda
I
weird.
put them over here, you can't see them.
Can't see them from where?
From everywhere that you see my backyard, the street, the deck, where you're standing. You don't have a big pile of propane tanks. I mean, I do have a big pile, they're just hidden.
But the pile of building materials for the last year and a half,
That's not my fault. That's not my decision either.
I pulled them off real quick while we swapped the gas. Got the heat up. So now the cheese is pretty much melted. The breading is set. So it's just a matter of getting the color.
I do like, you know, Jeff, I was giving you a hard time about the size.
Yeah.
But I kind of like the size. It's like, it's
They're
more
bite-sized.
bite size.
Yeah.
You know?
Make a batch of these, maybe onion rings or tater tots.
I would make these, like if we were going camping, I would make these ahead of time,
Yeah.
freeze the whole batch and keep it frozen
Yeah.
until I put them on the griddle.
Yeah.
I would try that.
That would work. So I got the temp on high just because I want to just brown them now that the cheese is melted and everything. I think the dough is pretty well cooked. So now I'm just going for the looks and the crisp.
Yeah, just finishing up the outside.
Yep. So I'll keep that.
Keep it on high. It's gonna be minutes, right?
It's gonna be, yeah, next to no time at all. You can already see some cheese starting to come out, so.
So that's how, that was always the gauge of doneness at the various places I've worked for mozzarella sticks.
If the cheese pops, it's too
As
late.
soon as you start to see the cheese come out of the crust, the cheese come out of the breading,
Yeah.
pull them.
Yeah.
And there's been, this is funny, there's been times where people I've worked with, not me, but they've left them in the fryer later. Then they've served them to the customer. The customer's come back up to the counter and been like, every single one of my cheese sticks is hollow.
There's no cheese.
There's no cheese, yeah, because it all boils out the side.
So this kind of does that too. You'll see it start to pop.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it here.
Yeah.
You know, here. But it seems to be taking a little bit longer.
The dough is what helps keep that in. Right?
Ah, good point.
So those are getting some nice color.
So, and on the upside, you know that you're getting, the cheese is gonna be nice and melty and not solid.
Oh yeah. So you got some puffing action, some nice color there. Oh, these
Yeah,
are
that looks
looking
perfect.
Yeah.
Look at that. Looking good.
So we're just gonna give this maybe a minute. See you inside. What do you think?
I think they're delicious. These are, I would say, significantly better than the frozen ones you buy for a couple different reasons. One, they have a nice crunch. Two, they have a longer chew. Right? Three, because you use the fresh mozzarella, it has a much better flavor.
Nice pull too.
Yeah, they're absolutely delicious, Jeff. And I really like the size.
What I've come to appreciate is that
These are delicious. They're delicious.
the salt, I cooked it a bunch of times without adding the salt to the breadcrumb. Add a little bit of salt to the breadcrumb. That was key to adding in a little
Holy SH blank blank. Jeff just took a bite.
I took a bite and I'm enjoying it. But anyways, simple. Like
Really tasty.
You can put the kids to work. They get a little crispier if
You don't run out of gas while cooking them?
if you don't run out of gas, but they're still pretty crispy.
Honestly, this is an 8 out of 10 for flavor for me. This is outstanding.
Perfect.
Now,
Perfect. But guys, we appreciate you hanging in, watching this video.
you heard us beg earlier. Please subscribe. We'll beg again.
We miss you, Chris. And try this out. It's worth a shot and it's cheap.
Definitely winner chicken dinner.
And cheers, guys.
Good stuff. See ya.
All right, we got an honest taste tester here.
Unbiased.
Unbiased.
So what do you think?
Speaking to the mic, Mr. Look at the size of these. Yeah.
These are very good and crispy on the outside and soft on the inside. That's all you got.
Perfect. We'll go with it. Thanks, guys.